History often paints its subjects in broad strokes, heroes or villains, saints or tyrants. But the truth is rarely that simple. Over time, hidden chapters come to light, challenging the reputations of figures once revered or reviled. Some left behind dark legacies that were concealed or ignored during their lifetimes. Others made undeniable contributions, only to have their flaws or transgressions exposed posthumously. Here are 20 cases where the darker truths about some of history's most celebrated and infamous individuals emerged only after their deaths. King Leopold II. Long hailed for expanding Belgium's influence, Leopold II privately ruled the Congo Free State with brutal force. Under his regime, millions died from forced labor, disease, and starvation. The full scope of this atrocity remained largely hidden until the 20th century. Mahatma Gandhi, globally admired for his philosophy of nonviolence, Gandhi's early writings from South Africa revealed troubling views. He used racist language and advocated for the segregation of Indians from black South Africans, complicating his legacy. Winston Churchill. Often remembered as a wartime hero, Churchill's role in colonial oppression came into sharper focus after classified documents were released. His dismissive handling of the 1943 Bengal famine contributed to the deaths of over 3 million people. Thomas Jefferson. The contradiction between Jefferson's advocacy for liberty and his ownership of over 600 enslaved people has long been debated. DNA evidence later confirmed he fathered children with Sally Hemings, a teenage girl he enslaved, prompting deeper scrutiny of his legacy. Mother Teresa, regarded for her charitable work, Mother Teresa's clinics were later criticized for poor medical care and glorifying suffering. Questions also arose about financial transparency and her alliances with authoritarian leaders, tarnishing her once unquestioned saintly image. Andrew Jackson's presidency included the violent enforcement of the Indian Removal Act. While known in his time, the full horror of the Trail of Tears, forced displacement and destruction of native communities, was fully acknowledged only generations later. Fritz Haber, credited with revolutionizing agriculture through synthetic fertilizer, Haber also developed chemical weapons in WWI. His role in advancing poison gas warfare, along with the personal tragedy of his wife's suicide, casts a haunting shadow over his legacy. Marie Stopes, a pioneer of birth control, Stopes was also a committed eugenicist. She advocated forced sterilization and even disinherited her son for marrying a woman who wore glasses, reflecting a disturbing obsession with genetic purity. Cecil Rhodes, a symbol of British imperialism, Rhodes was once uncritically honored with namesakes around the world. Only later did the full brutality of his colonial rule, marked by exploitation and racial subjugation, enter public discourse. Edward VIII, best known for abdicating the British throne for love, Edward's close ties to Nazi leaders remained hidden for decades. Declassified records eventually revealed secret meetings with Hitler's regime, reframing his legacy as more than a romantic exile. Werner von Braun, a key figure in the US space program. Von Braun previously designed weapons for Nazi Germany. Brought to America under Operation Paperclip, he was later linked to the use of concentration camp labor in his wartime projects. Henry Ford, an industrial icon, Ford also published virulently anti-Semitic material in the Dearborn Independent. Though known during his lifetime, the global influence of his writings, later cited by Nazis, was not fully understood until years later. Thomas Edison's innovations shaped modern life, but his rivalry with Nikola Tesla exposed a darker side. His aggressive efforts to discredit Tesla's alternating current, such as public animal electrocutions, raise ethical concerns about his methods. Jimmy Savile, a beloved British entertainer and charity figure, Savile's legacy was shattered after his death in 2011, when hundreds of sexual abuse allegations emerged. Institutions had long ignored complaints, making the eventual revelations all the more disturbing. J. Edgar Hoover. As the long-serving FBI director, Hoover was once seen as a stalwart of justice, Posthumous revelations showed he used surveillance to blackmail civil rights leaders and wielded enormous unchecked power for political purposes. Leni Riefenstahl, renowned for her pioneering film techniques, Riefenstahl claimed artistic detachment from Nazi propaganda. However, later investigations proved her active involvement in promoting Hitler's image and exploiting marginalized groups in her productions. Emperor Hirohito, although he remained emperor after Dobitudes, Hirohito's exact role during the conflict was obscured. Only after his death did declassified documents reveal his deeper complicity in war crimes, including the approval of chemical weapons and mass killings. Christopher Columbus. For centuries, Columbus was glorified as a daring explorer, but historical reevaluations, supported by first-hand accounts, show he enslaved indigenous people and instituted brutal systems of control, sparking calls to reconsider how he is remembered. Edward Teller, dubbed the father of the hydrogen bomb, Teller's later years were marked by controversy over his role in undermining colleague J. Robert Oppenheimer. After his death, biographies painted him as a politically driven figure whose ambition often clashed with ethics. Kim Il-sung. Founder of North Korea's regime, Kim Il-sung's oppressive policies were hidden from the world for decades. Only after his death did defectors' testimonies and satellite imagery reveal the extent of famine, surveillance, and state brutality under his rule.